No one left behind is more than a standard we all live up to. It is a way of life. It is part of our mission. If you or someone you know finds themselves struggling with their mental health, please contact the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline by dialing 988 on your mobile phone or text 838 255 to speak or chat with a qualified counselor. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Run for the Wall podcast. I'm Hitch, and as always, I'm joined with my co-host, Boots.
Hey, everybody.
And this week we have very special guest, Ed Windog Brundage, who is 2025's Midway Route Coordinator.
Welcome, Ed.
Hey, Ed.
Morning, Hitch and Boots.
Thanks for joining us today. I know we
it's early.
Threw you in here. It's early. This episode is going up today. Here shortly. Yes, coffee. I think Ed said he's on his second cup already.
Third for me.
Yeah, and he was like, when we were setting up, he was reminiscing about the Marine Corps and how they used to make the coffee. So yeah, is it May yet?
No. God, can't get here fast enough. We're stuck here in the middle of February, but you know what? We are getting closer and closer every day because as of today, we are 83 days out from Kickstands Up. 82 for Midway, right, Ed?
That's correct. Yeah,
because Midway,
one day
remember,
early.
Yeah, remember everyone, Midway Route will leave on Tuesday, the 13th. They're the only route that does that. They take an extra day, so they have a day of outreach halfway through their run, and Ed can talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, the Central Route, Southern Route will go Kickstands Up on the 14th. So we're looking forward to that, and it's only 83 days out. So There we are.
And if this is your first time joining us, all of our FNGs or family members, and you're wondering, okay, what is Run for the Wall? Well, Run for the Wall is the country's oldest and largest cross-country motorcycle run in support of veterans, POWs, MIAs, and KIAs. Let's see. And the goal of our podcast is just to continue to. The goal of the podcast is to continue to raise awareness and just finding out what we can do to support our mission.
It's early.
Yeah, and I'm not a coffee drinker, okay? I'm sipping on tea. Oh, man. All right,
It's
Boots.
all good. Hitch, it's all good. We're
I'm over here tongue-tied. All right, so sponsors.
We gotta have fun with it, no matter what we do. We just gotta have fun with it. So, okay, let's roll with it. Our sponsors, I want to give a big shout out to Chad Fuller at Fuller Law. These guys give us so much support. It's incredible. If you or somebody you know has a motorcycle accident or you need some legal counsel, please contact Chad Fuller and his group at 1-855 Fuller Law. That's FULLERLAW. Or you can find them on the internet at fullerlawforriders.com. Also want to give a shout out to the Greater Ontario Convention and Visitors Bureau for rolling out the red carpet for Run for the Wall every year. Couldn't do it without you guys. Hydration sponsors. As you know, if you've been watching the podcast, we get a lot of product from Pepsi and from Coke. I know they're rivals, but they're all in for our mission, and we couldn't do it without them. So thank you very much to Pepsi and the Coca-Cola Company. And I am so very excited to announce we have a brand new sponsor. This one is, I just couldn't be happier about it. Amsoil. So if all y'all know, Amsoil makes synthetic lubricants for all kinds of vehicles. And I'm just going to read their little script here that I wrote down because it says it better than I could. But AMSOIL specializes in developing synthetic lubricants that offer innovative answers to the greatest challenges vehicles and equipment present. The extraordinary performance of AMSOIL synthetic lubricants in a range of markets, automotive, power sports, industrial, racing, and more, has made their influence in the industry unmistakable and their brand highly respected. Their commitment to innovation has resulted in legions of brand loyal customers, and I am one of them. Seriously, I've got AMSOIL in just about every vehicle I own. I've got it in my Sportster behind me. I've got it in my Supermoto bike. I've got it in my flat track racer, my 64 Harley that's sitting behind the Sportster. I got it in my Yamaha R7 Twins Cup road racing bike. It's in my driveway in my F-150. I'll talk about some of the products, but I really want to give them a big shout out because someone from AMSOIL heard our podcast and reached out to us and has donated a ton of products to Run for the Wall.
Wow.
And yeah, so we're going to have oil for both American V twins and also for metric bikes that will be available in the merchandise trailers. So if you need a quart of oil, you can pick them up from the merch trailers on Run for the Wall. I don't know if we're going to have other products. I know they make a lot of great stuff like this metal protector. It's a lubricant. This is awesome. I happen to run their Dominator Racing brake fluid. This is a great product. And you know what? You probably didn't know this, but I have a little sip of this every morning. I've been doing that now for like a couple of years. But I'll tell you one thing, Hitch. I can stop anytime.
Because it's brake fluid.
I know Todd Taylor's probably listening going, did he really say that?
Look,
sorry.
AMSOIL is like, you know what? We might want to rethink this sponsorship.
Okay, no, seriously, everybody, do not drink brake fluid. I don't really drink it, okay? It's a joke, a bad one at that. But check this out.
Kidding.
Yeah, here's a couple other things. There's synthetic air tool oil if you have pneumatic things. Like I have a lift back here and pneumatic wrenches and stuff. This air tool oil is fantastic. Look at this, AMSOIL firearm cleaner. If you happen to have a semi-automatic pistol and it's striker fire, I use this to clean out the striker chamber. It leaves no residue. It's fantastic. Brake parts cleaner from AMSOIL. Stuff is awesome. I get my oil filters from AMSOIL. This is a Harley-Davidson oil filter. This is Harley-Davidson or American V-twin engine oil. They have transmission fluid. If you're having trouble finding neutral or need to shift smoother, this will sort that out for you.
You have the entire line.
Oh my gosh. Assembly lube. I build engines, so I use plenty of this assembly lube. It's great. Primary fluid for American V twins. If you happen to ride a metric bike, this is the racing oil that I use in my race bikes, which are mostly metric. And then also this is for metric also. And this is the particular oil that I use in my Ford truck. So, gosh, yeah, that's it for the AMSOIL. But I did want to mention something about the founder of the company because this kind of ties into Run for the Wall a little bit. The company was founded by Albert J. Amatuzio. That's a mouthful. Mm-hmm. He founded AMSOIL while serving as squadron commander of the Duluth, Minnesota Air National Guard. Amatuzio was born May 6, 1924, to Italian immigrants in Duluth, Minnesota. Following high school in 1942, he attended Naval Air Corps training before the Navy closed that program. Amatuzio joined the Merchant Marine prior to joining the Air Force after World War II. He flew the F-80 Shooting Star, which was America's first operational fighter jet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he returned to Duluth to run the family business after his mother had taken ill. In Duluth, Amatuzio joined the Air National Guard. During his fighter pilot career, Amatuzio won the William Tell Air-to-Air Shootout Competition and the Earl T. Rick Competitive Shootout. During his time as a pilot, Amatuzio began researching synthetic engine oils. Synthetic lubricants were used exclusively in jet engines due to the increased heat and stress of supersonic flight, and Amatuzio sought to apply the benefits of synthetic oil to automotive engines. He developed several different synthetic motor oil formulations and was commercially selling synthetic motor oil for automotive use by 1968. On May 23rd, 1969, he incorporated Lube Life through the Minnesota Department of State. By 1970, Amatuzio had renamed the company AMSOIL with a Z, AMZOIL, which he later changed to AMSOIL with an S, and that's how we know it today, AMSOIL. AMSOIL is the first in synthetics, protection you demand, performance you deserve. So if you go to the Run for the Wall website and you scroll down, you'll see a little AMSOIL ad. You can click on that. That'll take you to the AMSOIL website where you can oil all of these wonderful AMSOIL products. And please support the companies that support the Run for the Wall mission.
So, question, Boots. Are they just donating, or will they be set up, or are they going to have a booth at the host hotel out in Ontario?
I don't know about the booth. I know that quite a few products have been donated. And I think that those were donated to Run for the Wall to be sold out of the merch trailer during the routes.
Last I heard.
Yeah.
That's accurate. Yeah.
That's what I've got so far.
Yeah.
But you can also order AMSOIL products online, and it's easy to do. It's at amsoil.com, AMSOIL.com. And boy, they just have a whole line of great products for automotive and power sports and boats and whatever you got that's got an engine, put AMSOIL in it. I even run it in my generator. So.
Oh my goodness. I don't even want to hear about it. Generator. Like, while we were gone, I got a notification saying that the power went out. And so I hardly got any sleep because I'm like, okay, where's the power came back on email? The power was out from like 9:30 p.m. until 7 a.m. Thankfully, we weren't home, but I looked at Diego. I said, we're getting a generator. Like, I need a generator. A whole house generator, different type. But yeah.
It's a good thing to have, I'll tell you that.
I see the ad, and it's, if you go to the main page, it is just above the countdown for the run. So if you all are looking for the direct link, you'll see it just above that on the home page for Run for the Wall.
Right on. Hey, Hitch, do you want to talk about some of the other people who support Run for the Wall?
Absolutely. So, we always look to highlight those who support us across all routes throughout the run. And I'm just going to highlight a couple of the day one sponsors from last year's run. So Sandbox Route lunch sponsor, which is American Legion Post 257. Big thanks to you. Southern Route, their dinner sponsor on day one was at Casa Grande Elks Lodge, 1957. Midway Route lunch sponsor, the Mother Road Harley Davidson, right? Is that what?
Yep.
Yeah. And then Central Route lunch sponsor, Needles Chamber of Commerce. So thanks to you all. And I'm going to, like, each episode, try to bring up all of the people who sponsor us, those fuel sponsors. So we do get a lot of donors for our fuel stops, lunch, dinner, breakfast provided to us, the venues where we have that, because the people who sponsor the meal may not necessarily be the same people who are like, yes, you can use our building. So like, that's a really big deal when it's like, hey, can we bring a few hundred people on motorcycles into your town?
Not just people, crazy motorcyclists.
Yeah. So just thanks to you all. All right, news and events. Registration is open. It's open. So let's get registered. If you're thinking about coming, register. If you're going, you should be registered.
If you're wearing a hat and you're not registered, what are you waiting for? Come on. If you're in a leadership position, platoon leaders, APLs, tail gunners, staging team, fuel team, advanced team, come on, guys. Register now.
But you know what, Boots? Maybe perhaps they're waiting for the price to go all the way up so they can donate the most money to the run. See? You see how I did that? I have your back,
see that,
you guys.
yeah.
I have your back. No.
Yeah, but for planning purposes, we need to know.
Right.
When you register, we know that you're in. So
Yep. And then that goes towards the numbers that we have to calculate and report to our sponsors. Like, hey, we have about X number of people coming for lunch and dinner and
that's
breakfast.
right, because Pepsi's asking us how much product do you need, and we base it on how many people are registered. So
Yep. All right, and then countdown to the run, as Boots already mentioned, Tuesday, May 13th, we're kickstands up for Midway, and then Central and Southern routes kickstands up on Wednesday, May 14th, and then Sam Box is going to go kickstands up Sunday, May 25th.
yeah. All right. Next item of news. A bunch of people have sent me emails and texts and everything asking me to send them out some of these trifold brochures. And I've sent tons out, hundreds. So that's awesome. And they're not doing me any good sitting here in my workshop. So I still have some more. If you need more or you want some to take to your local dealership or Elks Lodge or VFW, whatever, let me know. I'll get these out to you ASAP. Okay. I just put another 3 packages in the mail yesterday. So we've got those trifolds. You can download also posters from the website that they're just print on demand. And you can put those up at the dealership also, or at your place of business or whatever. Let me see. What else do we got here? I lost my place. Oh, that's right. Prepaid fuel. I want to talk about prepaid fuel. Okay. I think Kirk Olson, who is the route coordinator for the Central route, mentioned that the prepaid fuel stickers are only going to be $36 this year for a Central route. Now, there's no way to buy one online yet, and I don't know that we're going to offer them online in advance of the run. So when you check in, whether you're checking in Ontario or you're checking in Williams or you're checking in wherever on the Central route, that's the time to ask about the prepaid fuel sticker. And according to Kirk, I think I read that they're going to be taking cash only. So have, $36 in cash, not pennies, please.
Boots, if prepaid fuel is $36, that's a lot of donated fuel.
It's a lot of donated fuel.
Yes,
it is.
So awesome.
Yeah. Ed, how are you guys looking on your prepaid fuel?
I know of 2 places so far. But all the state coordinators are still reaching out, so I don't have a total count yet. Yeah. But 2 so far that I know for sure.
Okay.
And for Midway, it's going to be 150 as of right now.
Okay.
But that could go down also.
Okay.
The more donated we get, of course, the more we'll be able to reduce that. And I'm really happy for Central Route. That is outstanding.
Yeah. And I do want to mention, like, if you're out there right now and you're listening, and you want to donate or you know somebody who might want to donate, let's say you want to donate to the Midway route and cover a fuel stop. You can do that. You can reach out to Ed, or you can just go through the contact form, or you can just hit that donate button on the Run for the Wall website, and you can make a donation and say, I want this to go to the Midway route, and they will use that to sponsor a fuel stop. And that will reduce the fuel cost for everyone. So that's something that's available to everybody all the time on the website. I'm punchy today. I did not get much sleep last night.
I know. I feel like we're both in rare form. I hope you all really enjoyed this episode.
Gosh.
All right. So volunteer signups. Okay. Is the board of director treasurer position, is that still open?
It's still wide open, guys.
Wide open. We
need somebody to step up into that position, even if you don't have much experience. It's something that you can learn. If you want to give back, if you want to help direct the future of Run for the Wall and help solve problems, it's everybody on the board of directors is volunteer. It takes a bit of a commitment, and you got to have some thick skin from time to time. But if you believe in the mission, hey, let's not get into that.
Yeah.
You do have to have thick skin, but you know what? I believe in the mission to Run for the Wall. That's why I'm serving on the board of directors. Sometimes it's a thankless job, but I love Run for the Wall. Even the people who present challenges. I love you guys too. And we're all in this together and we're all on the same team. And I want to see Run for the Wall. I'd like to see my grandson, who was just born, he's 1 month old, ride on Run for the Wall someday. I really would. And that's why, I'm on the board of directors to make sure that the mission continues on out into the future. So if you're interested in serving and you have a little bit of experience maybe in being a treasurer, let us know, because that position's open.
Yeah. Hey, throw your hat in the ring regardless, I say.
Yeah.
Worst thing that can happen is, I guess they say no, or like, like, hey, you don't have enough experience, throw your hat in the ring. Hey, like, all right. But also, Ed, Midway is still in need of for volunteer sign-ups.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I'm still looking for a photographer.
Sit rep writer.
Sit rep writer. I've got a couple of positions just recently opened because of personal reasons. I need a couple of road guards.
Okay.
So if you're interested in being a road guard, we could really use you. Those are our safety personnel for all the routes, and I need to have a full complement of road guards to make sure the pack is safe.
What about merch? Are you good on merch? The merch team?
I could always use more people on merch.
And what
I
about
could always
medical?
use more people, period.
Okay.
Yeah. Medical, sure. All the above. And if you're interested in any of those positions, just go on the Run for the Wall website, hit any of the routes, and they'll have a list of what the leadership positions are.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're interested in any of those from a personal perspective.
Specifically for Midway, you can contact Ed at ed.brundage@rftw.us. He's the route coordinator, and let him know that you're interested, or fill out that volunteer form that's on all of the it's all over the website on every route.
And so I do have a message from Hoofer about the positions, and I did want to read that. And he actually posted it in the forum. That's where I snagged it from. But he's saying, howdy Midway Route family and folks. The Midway Route is looking for both sit rep author and photographer for the 2025 mission. I have offered to help find people to fill these two roles. If anyone is interested in either role, please let me know. Hoofer@rftw.us. I will help you all that I can. In fact, I will be with you the first 3 days from Ontario to Amarillo. For the sit reps, you will need a laptop computer. Your task is to listen, tell the folks back home where we went, what we experienced, and then tell some of the stories that you have heard that day. It is not only easy to do, but it is a lot of fun. It is also the direct link to the Run for the Wall. A direct link to the run for those who can't be there in person. For the photographer position, all you need is a camera. Any camera, which he mentioned when he was on the podcast.
It could be an iPhone. Yeah.
It does not have to be a big professional system. Your task is to see a moment and then capture it without interrupting it. You don't have to post pictures every day, but I always try to put a few out each day anyway. I would recommend putting some bright flashing lights on your bike so that you can be seen better when pulled over on the side of the road. I truly hope that someone will step forward and fill these positions. They are two of the most rewarding roles that you will ever have during your tenure with Run for the Wall. I have never felt so honored and humbled than when I was entrusted to represent you. You will have those same rewards. Cheers, Hoofer. So if you were wondering what all went into sit rep, or if you didn't hear the episode that he was on talking about being a photographer, then that's just a brief overview of what it takes. So hotel and camping lists,
they're all up.
They're posted. So if you're looking for roommates, check the forum. Like I saw today that there were several people in the forum who were looking for roommates and things of those natures. I see a lot of things in the forum where people are reaching out to FNGs like, hey, if you want to link up here to ride out to California. So if you are at FNG, by all means, pop in there so that you're not making the journey to California on your own. Like, This is a family. People are reaching out. So if you go to the Run for the Wall page and go to connect and go to forum, you'll be able to find those people and connect with them.
Right on.
Let's see. What else?
Can I add something there?
Absolutely.
That would be my personal first recommendation to any FNG that has any questions about the run, about their bike, about getting prepared, because there's a wealth of experience of writers that are up on that forum having discussions about experiences and lessons learned from past runs that they've made on.
Yep.
So that would be my first stop as an FNG, is go to the forum and read in the forum. You can post any question that you have in there, and somebody from one of the 4 routes will answer you.
Yep.
And give you at least a direction to go.
Yep. The forum, the Facebook page. And I mean, and if you have to, you can send a message because it's going straight to Boots anyway.
That's right.
And Tech Tips with Ted himself.
That's right.
We'll answer you.
Pretty much.
All right. So let's see. We've covered prepaid fuel.
Route itineraries.
Yeah.
Probably late March, early April on those daily route itineraries. But if you wanted to kind of get a sneak peek at what the route looks like, if you're an FNG or you're just, what day did this happen on last year? We have last year's itineraries as a reference only. Remember, there's some changes, some significant changes across all routes, especially concerning the last day into DC.
Yes.
Because we have a different endpoint now. But you can look at those itineraries and get kind of a pretty good idea of what the mileage, what the stops are, first day, second day, third day, just as a reference. But remember, the 2025 route itinerary handbooks will probably be out late March, early April.
Yes. All right. Let's see. Local meetups.
Yeah, there's local meetups everywhere, guys. Arizona, Colorado, California, DC. It's all on the forum.
I saw Tennessee in the forum.
Absolutely, Tennessee. And if you want to start one, no matter where you're at, do it. And if you need help, contact me. Fill out that contact form. I'll help you get it started. All right.
Runs to the Run. Check the forum. I know Hoofer's Hooligans is one that'll be meeting up. There's some leaving from like Northern Virginia to head over. So check that forum if you're looking for a Run to the Run.
Yeah, I even saw one. There's one from the Bay Area down to Ontario. So if you're in Northern California and you want to ride with some other guys and jam down to Ontario, go do it. Just know I'm pretty sure that Highway 1 is still closed north of Ragged Point. So you're going to hit 101 or the 5.
Do you all have a Run to the Run from your area?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called Me and Todd Taylor. And I don't think anyone wants to ride with us.
So then Todd starts all the way over here by himself and then comes to you?
Todd rides here from West Virginia.
Yeah.
And then me and Todd ride together. We go hit some of my favorite canyon roads. And
Steven, right? The 3 of you.
Steven came last year. I don't know if Steven's going to be on the back this year or not, but yeah, it's a lot of fun.
So that's the reason the canyon roads are the reason nobody wants to ride with you.
Yeah. Okay. We'll just leave it at that.
Okay.
Ed, where are you?
I'm in North San Diego County, California.
Okay. How far is that from Ontario? I'm on the East Coast.
An hour.
An hour.
Yeah.
Hour and 10.
You don't get a Run to the Run. You're already there. No.
I'm there.
Yeah. Do you even get a hotel before the start, or do you stay at home?
No, I do. I get up there about 3 days early because I offer my services to anybody that needs them. So I'll help put plaques together. I'll help put search together. I'll help any way that I can help.
Yeah, I usually ride out on Friday. And so I'm there Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then we leave on Wednesday. So,
but hey, you all heard it here first on the podcast. If you need help with anything, Ed will be there early.
That's right. Ed's your man.
His services.
Look for the beard.
All right. Route communications. We talked about this a lot.
Yeah, if
And
you don't
I've
know by
seen,
now,
yeah, and
I don't know where you've been.
I've seen a lot
No
of
more
things in the
CVs.
I've seen a lot of things in the Facebook group. People are posting their pictures and practicing their setups. So
Yep. GMRS is the way to go. It's the wave of the future.
yeah.
And there's so much information out on the forum. Kirk Olson put together some outstanding videos. If you don't know how to mount one, I saw a couple guys posting stuff. I created a custom mount using what's it called, rock form phone mount that I modified. There's a dozen and a half ways to do it, but they're easy to mount, they're easy to purchase, they're easy to set up, and everything's on video on the forum, so check it out.
All right. So now to the most important part of this podcast, and just really in line with our mission for Run for the Wall, is the why we ride boots.
Yeah, let me get this set up here. Hang on just a second. There we go. I got to do screen share, everyone. That's why I'm doing this.
Which I really think is important because so many of you actually watch the podcast on YouTube versus listening to it on Spotify. So I think it's really nice that we're able to put faces with the names and the bios.
Yeah. So this week's bio came from Leo Rackmel. Thanks, Leo, for sending this. Today we are remembering Patrick Lindsay Hall. This is why we ride, ladies and gentlemen. We ride to remember those who served and made the ultimate sacrifice for our country. Patrick Lindsay Hall was born in Sanford, Florida on January 22nd, 1948. He enlisted in the U.S. Army from Daytona Beach, Florida, and after a tour of duty in Germany, deployed to Vietnam. On December 31st, 1967, Private First Class Hall was assigned as an armor crewman to C Troop, 3rd Squadron, 5th Cavalry, 9th Infantry Division, which was conducting a routine tactical road march from Black Horse Base Camp to Phuoc Thi Province, RVN, 36 miles south from Vung Tau to conduct a road security mission. 2 platoons of armored vehicles moved out at 3 a.m. on Highway QL2 for a planned rendezvous with a convoy they were supposed to escort back to Black Horse. Each platoon consisted of an M48A3 platoon tank and M11113 Armored Cavalry Assault Vehicles, or ACAVs, accompanied by command and maintenance vehicles. The tanks led the way intermittently, using driving lights and searchlights to illuminate and observe along the sides of the road. About 5 miles south of Black Horse, as the last vehicle, a mortar carrier, leveled off over a slight rise on a straight section of QL2, the tank at the front of the column was hit by a rocket-propelled grenade, killing the driver and stopping the tank. An ambush was sprung along the entire column as a hail of RPGs quickly set fire to the leading vehicles with intense small arms fire that killed most of the men that were riding atop the vehicles. A trailing mortar carrier was hit by a command-detonated mine, exploding mortar ammunition and destroying the vehicle. A second tank was also hit by an RPG round, which ran off the road, blew up, and burned. The surprise was so complete that no organized fire was returned. When individual vehicles attempted to return fire, the enemy concentrated fire on that one vehicle until it stopped firing. Within 10 minutes, the fight was over. The results were devastating. At daybreak, the battered and burned hulks lay scattered along the road. Of 11 vehicles, 4 ACAVs and 1 tank were destroyed, and 3 ACAVs and 1 tank were severely damaged. 2 platoons suffered 42 casualties, including 13 killed. PFC Hall was badly burned in the attack and died of his wounds on January 11th, 1968. He is buried at Woodlawn Memorial Park in Orlando, Florida. His name can be found on the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Wall in Washington, D.C., on panel 34E, line 29. It is not the worst thing to die in war. It is not the worst thing to be missing in war. The worst thing is to be forgotten in war. say their names, tell their stories, never forget. Private First Class Patrick Hall, you are not forgotten. Your memory and sacrifice on behalf of our beloved country lives on in our thoughts and in our hearts. You will always be remembered whenever we stand and sing the words, land of the free and home of the brave. On behalf of a grateful nation, Patrick Lindsay Hall, we thank you for your service.
Thank you, Boots, for sharing PFC Hall's bio. All right. So that brings us to our customs and traditions. And today we will be discussing our AARs, or after action reviews or reports.
Reports, yeah, after action reports. What is an AAR? I'm putting you on the spot, Hitch.
Me? I was like, so AARs, for as they pertain to Run for the Wall, is a place where you can go as writers to, well, sometimes it's like expressing concerns, but also just expressing like their experiences.
Yeah, let's get real here. So where are the AARs located? That's a rhetorical question that I'll answer. If you go to the website, under the Connect menu, you can pull down After Action Report, and that's where you can just file a report. It goes confidentially and securely to every single member of the board of directors and the standing route coordinators for the route that you select. So if you have an after action report for the southern route, the Midway and Central and Sandbox route coordinators aren't going to get that after action report, only the route that you select. But the let's just get real here. Let's say something happens on the Run for the Wall that you're not happy about, or you're not happy in general with anything in particular. Maybe you don't like the way somebody looks, or doesn't matter. This is the place to do it, because it goes directly to the board and every single board member reads it. And then we talk about them and we discuss them and we take action on them. And believe me, they're very, very effective. We read every one.
Yep.
We talk about them. It's the way to get things done. It's the most effective way to get things done. And as a plea from me, take off my board of directors hat and just put it out there. Instead of running and saying something on social media, which really doesn't do a whole lot of good publicly in terms of optics, how the public sees Run for the Wall, how FNGs, how our sponsors see Run for the Wall, the After Action Report is the place to do it. It's the venue that we've created for you to say the good, the bad, and the ugly. And believe me, we want to hear it. We want to hear all of it, because we take it constructively. We take our egos out and we put that to good use for the future of the Run for the Wall to make it better every time we do it. So that's what the After Action Report is about.
We've received a lot of feedback on both sides, especially with the, was that last month with the president's announcement with route changes and things of that nature. We received so much, and we were really able to take all of those voices in, you know what I mean? And like I said, they were on both sides, for, against. So let your voice be heard.
Yeah. And the After Action Reports are available all year long. So you don't have to do it right after the run. I mean, you could fill one out right now, if you don't like my shirt or something. I don't know.
Or you could fill one out saying how much you love the podcast. I mean,
right. There's that too.
OMG. The hosts are so awesome,
Right on, Hitch.
Oh, man. All
right.
So
that's it. After Action Reports.
Can I add a point about After Action Reports?
Please do.
Everybody in a leadership position works very hard all year long to make this the best experience the writers can have on these runs. So these AERs are extremely important to tell us how we did, basically, and any recommendations you might have on how to make it better for the next group of FNGs coming along. So please take this opportunity. If you have any recommendations, if you want to tell us you need us to park a little closer to the restroom facilities, whatever it may be, it doesn't matter. Put it in and take advantage and use the AARs to tell us how we did. So next year will be better for you and better for the FNGs.
That's it exactly.
All right. So today we will be getting to know our Midway Route Coordinator a little bit better.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Positive.
Okay.
All right, Ed, how were you introduced to Run for the Wall? Break it down.
Okay, I'll try and make this quick, but my wife
No, you
tells
don't
me
have to. Hey,
wife tells me I can get long-winded, so I'll start.
Wait, is that why your road name is Wind Dog? Because you're long-winded? No, we'll get to that.
That's coming up. Okay. This started way back in 2008, early 2008, with a very good veteran friend of mine who I've known for a very long time. And he told me just on the side about Run for the Wall. And if I had ever experienced Run for the Wall before, I'd never heard of it before. And he told me about what sort of healing journey it was for him. That's my lead into my backstory. My backstory to this is back in 1968, I was a very, very young man, and my country called upon me, and I answered that call because my father did and his grandfather did, and I thought that's what Americans were supposed to do. And so I went and spent the next 16 months in the beautiful land of Vietnam and did what I thought I was supposed to do. And I came home and I was treated, I'll just say it was kind of vile, the way I was treated upon my return. And that really emotionally hurt me pretty bad because all veterans coming home from any sort of combat are wounded. They're either wounded physically or they're wounded psychologically or they're wounded emotionally or all three or all the above. And so they're just looking for somebody just to say thank you for everything that you lost during the horror of war. And when you don't get that, that really hurts. So I kind of socked all those feelings away into internal lockbox, like most veterans did back then in 1969. Wasn't a good time to be a veteran back in 1969. I'll just tell you straight up. So we kind of put all those things away and we got on with life. Yeah, I won't go there. How's that? What I will say is that lockbox, you saw the wheels turning, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
That lockbox was only opened when I was in the presence of fellow veterans that had liked experience, because my thought process were those were the only guys that understood what we all went through. And then this friend of mine told me about Run for the Wall. I have to tell you, it had been a long time since 1969, so I was a little skeptical that this was going to be this healing journey that he was talking about. And the first underpass we went over that was full of all those fellow Americans waving American flags and screaming USA. And the days after that, when we went to the children's schools, the veterans homes,
isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So I really, that's where my healing started. And it continued through the entire 10-day journey. And I made many new friends along the way, fellow veteran
So
friends.
you went
and
all the
Patriot
way
friends.
your FNG year.
I went all the way my FNG year on the Central Route.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, my first 4 runs were with the Central Route. And then 2013, somebody says, you got to try this new Midway route. And I went, okay. And I've been here ever since. Midway kind of captured my soul. So here I am. I would offer that by the time we got to Washington, D.C., I was ready because I was armed with some fellow veteran friends that I made along the way to approach that wall that I just stayed away from because I really didn't want to go there. I didn't know emotionally if I could handle going there because a lot of my friends are sitting on that wall. And I was able to go to that wall and actually touch them and talk to them and cry with them and share stories and let them know that I was living life the best way I possibly could for them. And that was my healing. And I swore from that day forward that I was going to do everything within my power to bring that healing process to every veteran I could get my hands on that needed that. Because guys were losing between 19 to 22 veterans a day to self-harm and suicide. And my feelings is they're suffering that same thing I was suffering with that all that emotion locked into that lockbox they got, and no real way to get it out. This journey will help them do that. So that I'm doing everything I possibly can every day and every year on Run for the Wall to get as many as I can there, so they can get this healing that I got. So there's my backstory. How's that?
That's amazing. So Ed, I just want to say welcome home, and we appreciate your service. We really do.
Thanks, sir. It was a pleasure serving you.
Yeah. Well, in 1969, I was just a toddler. So.
Oh, you had to say that, didn't you?
Sorry.
That's where all this great stuff comes from.
In 1969, I hadn't even ridden a motorcycle yet. I had to wait one more year. So, or a year and a half.
I won't mention where I was.
Yeah, we don't know.
Were you even born yet, Hitch?
No. Not even close.
Not even close.
I came around in 1982.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that really hurts.
I know.
Oh.
Yep. Okay. So, I know you talked about the different routes that, you started on Central Route for 4 years and you jumped over to Midway. It captured your soul. But what positions have you held? And when did you get involved in taking on leadership roles or volunteer positions with the run?
Actually, the first time I made the run, I was with the hydration team.
As FNG?
Really?
And FNG. FNG years with the hydration team. That's not allowed anymore. Okay. It maybe wasn't allowed back then, but I didn't know that at the time. Thank you. So my first run with Central was with the hydration team. And then after that, I was just a pack rider. Mm-hmm. And then when I came over to Midway, I was given the opportunity to work on the fuel team.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. What a tremendous opportunity to actually serve the entire pack.
This is the first time that we've had someone who on the podcast who was on a fuel team, isn't it?
That's true. True.
I need to hear more about being on the fuel team.
Else? Yeah. And I want to tell you this, Ed, and maybe you can talk to this a little bit, but probably 1 out of 3 questions I get on from the website is people asking, how the heck does fueling work?
Right. So we need to hear about it.
It's scary. I think it is, because they're like, all right, yeah, we're going to fuel 250 to 350 motorcycles in 15 minutes. How is that going to work?
I call it organized chaos.
Yeah, that's about right.
Because if you stand back and look at it, it looks extremely chaotic, but it's really extremely organized. We practice bringing people in and getting them into pumps, and as soon as they're fueled, getting them out of pumps and getting them up to the staging area. So it's rehearsed, basically. And that's why the fuel team is an advanced team, because we get there and make sure that, the areas are clean for them to come in. There's no oil on the ground that we may have some accidents with. If so, getting those cleaned up in advance, getting the pumps all turned on and make sure that they're on so that the pumps aren't stopping halfway through the fueling process. So we get all those things taken care of, so it's a smooth transition. And to stand back and watch it happen is just an amazing thing.
That's a great point. And I wanted to say this just to the riders, because, most of the pack riders, even the platoon leaders, tail gunners, you're so involved in what you're doing. Yeah. But if you can think about this May, when you're on Run for the Wall and we go to the fuel stop, because I saw this last year, the road guards are sitting flagging and we're directing the bikes to deliver them to staging so you can get lined back up. But one thing you have to understand is the fuel team clears out the gas stations before the pack arrives. Mm-hmm. And all those people that they clear out who have pulled in to fuel up have no freaking idea what's about to descend upon them. And then they stand back, they park their cars and they watch. And if you look at the faces of some of these people watching, it's like, they're jaws hit the floor. They can't believe what's happening, because 2x2 motorcycles come to the pump and you got whistles blowing and people yelling and flags flying and bikes going this way. It's crazy. But take a moment when you're at the fuel stop and look around and look at the people who are just there to watch
Yes.
the Run for the Wall riders come through the fuel station. It's amazing. And if you have an extra second, walk up and say hi.
Yeah.
To find out what's their story.
Yes.
Because
exactly.
everybody's got a story, you know? It's really cool.
And I will say that each rider plays a significant role in the fuel stop because you need to be paying attention and following the instructions of the fuel team in order
Yeah.
for that machine to flow.
Very important. Road pegs up.
Oh, yeah.
When you come to
Highway
a fuel
pegs.
stop, number one, there's nothing worse than having to run into one of the fuel team members with a road peg. That's not a good day for them. So road pegs up if you can. Some of them are stationary and permanent, and there's no way to do that, and we get that. But, road pegs up if at all possible. Another key point here is a nexus with your prepaid fuel. We need you to pay your fuel in advance because that speeds up the process of you coming through the fueling stations also.
Dramatically, yeah.
Dramatically, yes, dramatically. So we're not having to ask each person for a $10 bill or a $20 bill or whatever we need to get from them.
Mm-hmm.
That probably doubles the time you sitting in a fuel stop. So please pay for your fuel in advance. That will get you in. If you got a sticker on your windshield, that'll get you in and that'll get you out rapidly. The quickest we've done on Midway, I can say, is we fueled up 251 motorcycles, bikes, and trikes in, I think it was 11 minutes and 31 seconds.
Woo! Boy, that's fast.
That's with a stopwatch when the first one pulled in and a stopwatch when the last one pulled out. And I was absolutely shocked, actually, when I looked at it. I went, that cannot be. Wow, that was great.
I love the fact that the fuel team times it. You know, I am so OCD, like crazy, you know, but that kind of stuff, I love it.
Yeah.
I feel like it takes me half that time to pull up with my Jeep and fuel up and, you know. So that's incredible. All right, we skipped a question. The why do you ride or who do you ride for?
Who do I ride for? This is a little emotional for me, guys, so bear with me. I ride actually for two guys on the wall that were there the day that I got wounded the second time. The first one's name is Larry Luby. The other one's name is Larry Whitehead. Larry Luby actually saved my life that day. So he's the prime reason that I really didn't want to go to the wall, quite frankly, because I'd been with that guy ever since recruit training. We were in the same platoon together, going through recruit training, through all our advanced training. He was my bunkmate, and he was a brother. And so losing a brother like that, almost daily sometimes, really emotionally just puts a huge scar on your heart. And that's the reason a lot of veterans, when they come home, have that emotional blindfold put over their emotions because they don't want to deal with that pain. And that's some serious pain. It's like losing, one of your siblings or losing a spouse or losing a grandparent. That just rips your heart out. So yeah, Larry's my guy, and Whitehead's my guy also. But Luby is the one that really I wanted to go, the one I really wanted to go see if I could ever get there. And I finally got there in 2008. So I go see him every year now. And we talk about what's happened during the year and how things are going and what I'm trying to do to live up to his legacy. So that's my guy. That's who I ride for.
So Ed, you've been every year since 2008? No breaks?
Every year I could go. I had 1 year I was down because of my cancer thing.
Right.
That I had to go through. I could only make it part way the second year because of my cancer thing I had to go through, but I was going to go anyway. I just couldn't make it all the way. And in the 2 years that COVID was down, had us down, of course, nobody went down.
Right.
Except the second year we put together something called a Midway Route, which actually picks up a little bit of each route going all the way across. That was something that we just threw together at the last minute when.
Sounds like the Gunny route.
It is the Gunny route. It is the Gunny route. Yeah, exactly. And that was great, by the way. That was a fabulous year.
Oh, man.
That's awesome. So let's see. So you were on hydration team and fuel team. What other positions have you held on the run besides now you're going to be the RC? But
I was the advanced team leader for 2 years. For people that don't know who the advanced team leader or the advanced team is, it's the advanced party that's ahead of the entire pack. It's ahead of the fuel team. On Midway, anyway, he's the guy that is in charge of the fuel team and the staging team. So he gets there prior to those teams arriving and make sure that the pumps are paid for, so there's no issues getting the gas turned on. He also is able to take a look at the facility we're going to be going into and establishing what the actual ground truth is, so that we can get the entire pack off of the road or off of the street into the fueling facility, into the pump safely, and there's no raised curbs or any potholes could swallow Volkswagens. We've rented a couple of those out there.
How far ahead of the pack?
That was my question. That was my question.
The advanced team runs about an hour ahead of the pack. Okay. The fuel team runs about 45 minutes ahead of the pack. The staging team runs about a half an hour in front of the pack, so that we can get everything set up so that there's no questions, no hiccups by the time the pack arrives.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's important to also state that not all routes are managed slightly differently. They're very similar, but there's some nuances that are a little bit different. So not all the routes have an advanced team the way Ed just described Midway. But there's different ways to slice an apple, right?
Always.
Yep. So tell us, how do you prepare for Run for the Wall, both physically and emotionally?
Physically, I'm okay. I'm not really sure how I lived this long, honestly.
I'm not.
That's a joke, Catch, by the way.
Mess.
Thanks. I live very close to Marine Corps Base Camp Pendleton, which is the largest Marine amphibious base on the West Coast. I go out to the gym every day on the base with a couple of good friends of mine, and we work out the best we can at 70 plus years old to try and stay in a little good, keep the muscles at least in tone. And we walk between 3 to 5 miles a day. So that keeps us pretty fairly physically in shape. Emotionally, after I made that first trip, emotionally, I'm looking forward to going on the Run for the Wall because I know it's going to be another year and another experience that just adding on to that healing process and hoping that I can help others get that healing process also. That really makes me feel good inside. You know, it's like being a teacher when you're trying to teach somebody something and you see the light bulb go on above their head because they got it. You know? So when you see them actually get it, when you get the stops, and you go up and give them a big hug and you say, welcome home, and you see the light come on and you see the eyes brighten up a little bit. That just, you couldn't pay me all the money in the world for that feeling. That's fabulous.
And Ed, being in California, you ride year round, right?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Okay. So.
That's a California stick it in you if you're you're in a place that has snow on the ground.
I could tell.
You just have to get used to riding in the fog a little bit, right?
That's true. Yeah. Inland.
Yeah. All right. Next question is yours, Hitch.
You want? Okay. All right. Your favorite Run for the Wall stop or experience?
Oh, my goodness.
And I'm expecting this to come strong for Midway Route because you said Midway captured your soul. So what was it that captured your soul? I just need to know that.
Every stop. Boy. Okay. Cookeville, Tennessee.
Yeah.
is one of the places that first comes to mind. The entire town, from the moment you get off the freeway and pull into town, it seems like the entire town empties out, and they're sitting along the street and waving flags from getting off the freeway all the way into the center that we stop at. So it seems like the whole town comes out and just opens their arms up to you coming on board. State senators come and talk to us. Local representatives come talk to us. I have a state representative that's my ambassador team lead, so that helps.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They just open their arms. Anything that you want. The local vendors there give everybody reduced prices because you're part of Run for the Wall. And then we have the 3 outreaches that we do the second day that we're in Cookeville. And those are super rewarding. And I recommend any FNG that has the opportunity to go on those, please sign up to go on those, because that'll be another day for you that you'll look back at and say, oh, wow, boy, what an experience that was.
So, Ed, how does an FNG who's interested in going on some of those outreaches, how do they sign up?
Just talk to their platoon leader.
Okay, good.
Their platoon leader has a roster that he puts together of anybody that wants to do everything that's offered to the FNGs, all the way up into including things that are going on in Washington, D.C.
Okay, so like if you're an FNG right now and you're going on Midway or any of the other routes, I oscillate between route and route. Sorry about that. Hitch says route. Nick Henches, if I say route, he will smack me over the head and say it's route, darn it. But anyways.
I'm from Oregon, it's route.
Okay.
So I think I say route, but if I'm like at Sonic ordering my drink, I think I say route. I order the Route 44. Is that, yeah.
Route.
But yeah.
Okay, my point, back to the point. If you're an FNG and you're wondering, okay, how does all this stuff work? I'm getting nervous. I want to sign up. Don't worry. Relax, lay back, show up in Ontario. You'll get your platoon assignment. You're going to get assigned your platoon leader, your assistant platoon leader, and your tail gunner or tail gunners, depending on which route you're on. And they are going to guide you through the whole business of Run for the Wall, how to get your fuel card, how to get onto these outreach or breakout rides, how to get hooked up if you want to ride in the missing man formation. Yeah. What is that? What does it entail? One of the best 90 minutes of motorcycling of my life, of all the riding I've done, from dirt riding to whatever, riding that 90 minutes in the missing man formation is probably the most memorable 90 minutes I've had on a motorcycle. I highly encourage you to do that. But the point is, if you're an FNG, just relax. Make sure you got your insurance up to date, your registration up to date, your motorcycle endorsement, you got fresh tires on the bike, and you are ready to roll. Yeah, start the run with freshies, okay?
Yes.
I always do. It's a good thing to do. All right, so where were we? Oh, it's my question. What's your favorite meal on Run for the Wall?
Oh, geez. This is easy, okay? On day 9 in Siler City, North Carolina, we have a church that gathers the entire community up, and they have barbecue pits lined up all along the side of the church out there. And they're frying steaks. When we show up, steaks and baked potatoes, and they've been making homemade ice cream for about 2 hours before we get there. So we've got steaks, got baked potatoes, fresh corn, homemade ice cream, peach cobbler, and chocolate chip cookies.
Yep, I think you're echoing what Leo said on the last podcast. Yeah, because I remember saying those are 3 of my 4 favorite food groups: ribeye, ice cream, and peach cobbler.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So best meal I would say on Midway is right there.
That's great.
Of course, they're all good, but
that's true.
The one that pops in there is that one right there, because boy, everybody's looking forward to it. Ever since you get up in the morning, you go, "Ooh, Siler City's today!" Yeah.
I definitely would like to see footage of all the pits lined up. So sit rep, writer, photographer, or
Take pictures.
your social media
Anyone.
person. Yeah,
Just
anyone.
video it
Like
and
do a
post it up
video.
on
I
Facebook
want
or
to
something.
see it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's really a sight to see. Okay.
I'm going to make a note, make sure that happens for you, Hitch. How's
Okay.
that?
Sweet. And then after you make your note, we want to know how you got the road name Wind Dog.
Oh, geez, here we go. Okay. It's a very unusual road name. I'll say that straight up front. My original road name was Smokey.
Okay.
And I kind of gave that to myself. That's been my nickname. It was my father's nickname. So I kind of stole it from him. However, I was with a group of friends of mine riding out near Palm Springs. And I don't know if you guys been to 29 Palms before.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Joshua Tree National Monument.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. From Palm Springs, you take a highway called 65 that goes up through the valley, that goes up to the high desert. And we had a little bit of a wind event that day, which happens going through that area.
Quite frequently.
Quite frequently, yeah. And my friends tell me, and they're the ones that gave me the name Wind Dog. My friends tell me all they heard was my engine accelerate, and they saw me go around them, and I was lisping to the right or leaning to the right about 45 degrees, yelling, Yahoo! And disappeared around the corner. So we got to the next fuel stop, and they go, okay, here's your new name. Go get a tag made up. So
I like it.
I would have named you Yahoo.
Yahoo. Oh, no, there you
Yahoo.
go. Yeah.
I like it.
Oh, man. That is awesome.
Okay, so Wind Dog, what do you ride?
I ride a 2017 FLH TK.
Oh, that's what I ride.
Which is an ultra class. Yes, sir. Oh,
Ultra limited.
Ultra limited. Excuse me. Oh boy, go to my room. Ultra limited.
What color?
It's a two-tone, gray and black, gray over black.
Excellent.
I like it. I like it a lot.
That's
my
fantastic.
Baby. I just keep doing new things to it. I'm thinking about a stage 4 next year.
Well, Ed, we should talk.
Okay.
Not during the podcast, but
okay.
I've taken mine beyond stage 4. It's like on stage 16 now. But I can't. You know what? It's sitting on the dyno down at the dealership because, I put a big old cam in it, and it was a little. I think I might have gone a little too far on the cam.
A little much. Okay.
Yeah, it's running a lot of horsepower. But anyways, stage 4. That's a great bike. I love the Harley Davidson Ultra Limited. It's I got to say, of all the bikes I've owned, I think it's probably my favorite bike that I've ever ridden.
My original bike was a Fat Boy, and I loved that little Fat Boy, I got to tell you. But boy, the older I got, the more it just beat me up. So I decided it was time to look for something a little more in the touring category. So
the suspension difference between the Fat Boy and the touring chassis is really
huge.
Big.
Yeah, huge. Yeah.
I remember wanting a Fat Boy earlier on.
It's a great little bike.
Good to hear.
Great little bike.
They are great bikes. Yeah.
Yeah, but really no, I need something more comfortable. Sounds like.
Then your Hammer. Does your Hammer still run?
Yes.
Do you still have it?
Yes. It's in the garage.
Okay. And how often are you riding that bike?
Not since I had the baby.
Oh my gosh. All right.
I never knew. Congratulations, Mom.
Well, she's about to turn 3.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
You probably need a battery and an oil change. And hey, while we're talking about it, use AMSOIL.
AMSOIL.
Oh, I am. And we also have an F-150. So I'm like, when you said that, I was like,
there you go.
Oh, okay.
F-150.
Yeah, totally. But all right. Ed, earlier on, you mentioned that a piece of advice that you would suggest to all FNGs is to really get in that forum and read the forum, because there are a lot of questions, or they can ask questions and get answers to a lot of things just by scrolling through. But is there any other piece of advice that you would have for our fun new generation of riders.
Oh,
Well said.
look what you did there. Fun new
Fun
generation.
new generation. I like
Oh
that.
my gosh.
Wow, I like that.
I think I said it on like the first podcast or something like that. I just never said it
You
again.
might have. Yeah, that's good. That's good, Hitch. I like it.
If you haven't done it yet, like Boots commented on earlier, get your bike in the shop and get a professional to look at it and make sure it's ready to go, because you're getting ready to travel about 6,000 miles, a little more. And I don't know how far you're going to be going in return, but that's a lot of miles on the bike if it's not ready to go. And you're probably going to need new rubbers. So don't even talk about it. Just get new shoes put on it. So there's no question. No question. And at least have them do what my mechanics call it a safety check. I don't know what everybody else calls it, but they take a look at the bike in its entirety to make sure that all the systems are functioning on the bike and there's no issues whatsoever. All the bolts are tightened down. Oh, I've had a couple trips where some people up in the front of the packs have lost a few things off of their bike.
Oh, yes.
Yes. So please go over your bike and make sure all the bolts are tightened down. All the Allen wrenches Allen bolts are tight. My brother had his finger hit by a shifter one year because it wasn't tightened down appropriately.
Loctite, everybody. Oh, I'll talk about that in a tech tip.
Okay.
There you go. I had one of the axle covers on the front of my bike come off. That was my bust right there. Yep. And that bounced through the entire fuel team without hitting anybody, thank goodness. But that was a serious lesson learned there. So please go over your bike, make sure everything's tightened down. When you pack it up, make sure everything's strapped on your bike tight, because if you're in front of anybody and you lose anything off your bike, the person behind you has to deal with it.
And let me just add there for a second, because I can feel, even though we're recording this, I can feel like Nick Henches and John Staub and Blaze going, yeah, I ride a Goldwing and it doesn't vibrate like a Harley. But I'm telling you, I've seen parts fall off a Honda. I've seen parts fall off of Kawasaki's, Yamahas, Suzuki's, Triumphs. So if you want your parts to stay on your bike, use a little bit of blue Loctite. It goes on the threads, tighten it up, you're good. Otherwise, you're going to lose shifters. Shifters are notorious, especially on Harleys. Sorry. Yeah. But yeah, I've lost a shifter off my Harley. It was many, many years ago. But man, I safety wire my shifters on now. Yeah. I'm just not going to lose another shifter.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm OCD on that. So there you go.
Very important when you're riding in a formation. And on Run for the Wall, you're going to be riding in a formation of some sort. Okay, so man, make sure all that stuff stays on your bike. If not, like I said before, somebody behind you is going to have to deal with it. And boy, we don't want that.
Yep, okay. For sure.
I feel like those were good tips for all riders.
Oh, always, yeah. Everyone. Tie your stuff down. Right on. And then last question. Well, we already know you're going to be the route coordinator for Midway for this coming year. So
thank you.
Are you pretty excited about it? I'm pretty excited for you.
I am excited. I was excited when I was nominated, and I was excited when the board said, okay, we'll give you a try.
Well, and we're really happy to have you, we really and appreciate you for being able to step up into the position.
Thank you. It's my honor. It's my privilege. When I left my military and law enforcement career, I was pretty high up in both those organizations. So I can't say I missed working with some great leadership teams, because boy, there's a lot of administrative stuff comes along with it. But it was really great to step back into a leadership position again, because what a great leadership team I've got. Wow. These guys do yeoman's work, and they don't get paid enough.
Yeah. Everyone's volunteer. So.
Absolutely.
All right. So we got to know you a little bit better. Now let's get to know some tech tips with Ted. What do we have for this episode?
Right. Well, I already talked about using Loctite, and I want to stress that again. You can buy it at Walmart. You can buy it at the hardware store. You can buy it just about anywhere. The blue Loctite is the stuff you want to use. Stay away from the red stuff. Okay. But remember, blue Loctite comes in a red tube and the red Loctite comes in a blue tube. So if you can remember the number, you want the 242 or Loctite 243. That's the color of the actual fluid that comes out of the tube. Make sure it's blue. The red stuff you have to heat to get off, and you don't want that on most bolts. The blue stuff is what you want. Anything that's on your bike, turn signals, shift levers, anything that you don't want to come loose, put a little dab of Loctite on it, and you'll save yourself a lot of headache, and maybe the rider behind you who doesn't get hit in the nose bridge with your axle cover or your shifter or your foot peg or what have you. But what I wanted to talk about today is staying sharp when you're on the bike, because we got some long days, especially that first day on Run for the Wall, where we're leaving Ontario and all routes are going to places in Arizona. Southern routes going to Casa Grande, Midway routes going to Flagstaff. Sorry, I'm in Northern Arizona. We just call it Flag, but everyone else calls it Flagstaff. Central routes going to Williams. That's like a 400 plus mile day. So one thing that you may want to consider is energy drinks. That's my drink of choice right there. I'm not endorsed by them, but hey, Red Bull, if you're listening, I'd love to be a Red Bull athlete. All of my idols are, but and that's why I drink it. But you know what? One of these after lunch will keep you going. I know a lot of people use some of the other energy drinks. Do it. Coffee is good, the original energy drink. 5-hour energy, be careful with those. Make sure you can take it. Experiment with the energy drinks before you hit Run for the Wall. Also make sure that they're compatible with any meds that you might be on, because these are loaded with sugar and caffeine, and they can make your heart race if you're not used to them. So kind of test it out beforehand. One of the things I do is I eat a really, really light lunch, because a heavy lunch makes me sleepy in the afternoon, and I don't like to be sleepy on the bike. Now, another thing to note is, especially on Midway and on Central, you're going to be up in altitude. Both Williams and Flagstaff are over 7,000 feet. And so combined with riding all day long, you're going to start in Ontario. It's going to be 60 degrees. By the time you hit Needles, it's going to be 105. And by the time you get up into Williams and Flagstaff, it's going to be down into the 50s again. You have spanned over 400 miles, huge changes in not only temperature, but elevation. And what comes with elevation is a decrease in oxygen. So one of the things that I carry on my bike is this. It's a little can of oxygen boost. You can buy it at Walgreens. You can buy it at Big Five. You can buy it at just about any drugstore. They're inexpensive, and it's just a little can of oxygen. And this will help keep you alert, especially at altitude. You just breathe in a little bit, you press the button and breathe a little oxygen. It'll pique your senses. It'll just give you that little edge to stay in your game and on top of your game and super alert while you're riding the bike. And, you know, if you do have problems with altitude and you don't want to take the altitude medicine that kind of makes you a little sleepy and drowsy, try the oxygen. It's inexpensive and very effective. That is Ted's tech tip for today.
Thank you, Boots. Okay, so listener feedback, I won't even say letter, but some of you have been making comments on the YouTube posts after watching the episodes. And so I'll do the first two. You can do the third one. Boots.
I don't send them to you. Here.
Did I? I sent you a text. I think I sent them to you on your phone. All right, so Mr. M6 Towel says, been liking the podcast since the pilot. I enjoy seeing all the different people involved and learning about their stories. The Why We Ride is the best part of the podcast. Lets us know why we continue to ride. Never forget, always remember, is it May yet? And then Nancy Mitchell 2298, love the podcast. You two are great.
All right, I got the one you sent me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is from Super Gas Guzzler. I was in, yeah, Sounds like my motorcycle with that 131 engine. Let's see. I was inspired by one of our Bay Area PGR riders' Facebook posts from last year's Run for the Wall to finally get on board by chance for the 50th anniversary of the end of the Vietnam War. This FNG is very impressed with your organization and professionalism in your organization. I'm a Vietnam-era vet, U.S. Air Force, SAC, and also brat, riding in remembrance for KIA family friend Captain Edgar R. Melton, whom I used to babysit his daughter while in high school in Afghanistan.
Wow.
My dad was the flight engineer on the Embassy Convair. He was one of the pilots. Captain Melton was on the C-5 that crashed April 4th, 1975, Operation Baby Lift. Heard of this at KI Sawyer, where I was based as a B-52 crew chief. During that time, we were loading conventionals and in case orders were placed to launch and go back to as the North broke the peace treaty and going south. Cannot wait to see you all. This video brought back these memories. Great job to you all. Hey, Super Gas Guzzler, sorry I butchered that reading it. It's very hard to read on this phone, but hey, we appreciate that. We appreciate you writing into us. And if you have anything to say, you can send it to pod@rftw.us, or just you can reply as a comment to the YouTube videos, and we'll get them and we'll read them on the next podcast.
And we absolutely look forward to seeing you in Ontario. So make sure you come up to us and say hello if you see us running around. All right. So yeah, for more information on Run for the Wall, you know where to visit us on the official website, www.rftw.us.
That's right. And before we close, Ed, you have anything else you want to add?
I do. I believe that the Run for the Wall mission statement is a powerful message to veterans, Gold Star parents and relatives, wives, sons, daughters, and patriots alike. We ride for those who can't say their names, never forget, is it May yet?
Yeah. And that's so right. Just like Boots said, share your experiences with us, topics you would like to hear about, and any questions you may have to pod@rftw.us. So until next time, how far are we going?
All the way.
Thanks, Ed, for joining us. See you all.
Yeah, thanks, Ed. See you
My
all next
pleasure,
time.
guys.
All right. Bye-bye.